Men Christian Saron, Alan Carter, the 18-year-old boy, against the men who are in the top 10 positions in the present Pro-Am series. There's Alan Carter, riding number 12. And as I say, we've got Frenchman Christian Saron and Bernard Poe, Hervé Guillou, Patrick Fernandez, although Patrick actually took a tumble in practice yesterday, hurt his wrist, so I'm not sure he'll be out on the lineup. But we have got a man that World of Sport viewers might remember. That's Mario Rademeyer, who was doing so well in the South African 250cc Grand Prix until he took a tumble. Well, let's hope he manages to keep the bike on two wheels this time. Number 1 there, Graham Cannell. He's the man who leads the series. Number 3, Niall Mackenzie from Scotland. Steve Parrish is out there, Barry. Any thoughts on Steve?
Well, no, if anybody's going to jump the start, I should think it'd be Steve. But all these guys, the French guys and that, are the top Grand Prix blokes. And I think you'll find that it's going to be about 3 full starts, I would imagine.
Yeah, Jacques Bolle came from the 3rd row to the 1st. Away they go, and he looks good.
Eat my words.
Well, it's Ken Irons, number 3, on the right of the picture, and next to him, number 2, Niall Mackenzie. So 2 of the regular Pro-Am boys out in front. That's 3, Ken Irons, number 2, Niall Mackenzie on the inside. And boy, Redgate really does look slippy. As you can see, the bike's twitching there. Oh my goodness gracious me. Those 350 RDLC Yamahas getting very skirlish as they go round Redgate for the very first time. Down the hill, through Craner curves.
And into the old hairpin. The old hairpin in the dam, which is the corner they're coming into now, is really very, very slippery. So let's hope for the best.
Well, we just pause to see whether everybody goes through. There's number 4, that's Paul Tinker. He's lying 4th in the Pro-Am series at the moment. But out in front, it's number 2, Niall Mackenzie. Behind him, Graham Cannell, the Manx boy who leads the regular Pro-Am series, and I'll repeat that this is the round of the Pro-Am.
That's Carter in front.
Alan Carter, I'm sorry, it's Alan Carter come through to take the lead. Well, I suppose being in front is the place to be. Alan Carter then from Graham Cannell. Then we have Thierry Rapicault. Well, Thierry Rapicault made his reputation in France on these machines before he moved on to bigger and better things on the Grand Prix scene, and Graham Cannell is not over impressed with the reputation of Alan Carter, elbow to elbow, actually touching as they go down there. Now, who's going to give way? And Rapicault goes through the inside of both of them. Will he make the corner?
Fantastic, incredible.
Well, Rapicault, and a big twitch there from Thierry Rapicault, the Frenchman.
He's a brave lad, Rapicault.
Out in front, Thierry Rapicault then, the man who leads. They're now on the 2nd lap of this 8-lap race. Number 18, Thierry Rapicault, then Alan Carter, then Graham Cannell, and that's Niall Mackenzie just sliding through inside of Graham Cannell, and they are, a real big twitch there. Well, nobody needs to tell viewers that Redgate Corner is slippy.
I've seen a couple of these Yamaha Pro Cup races in France, and we think they're bad over here. They're even more competitive in France than they are over here. So Rapicault seems like the favourite at the moment.
Thierry Rapicault conquering his way down through the old hairpin then, but he still leads the race. Thierry Rapicault, a man who has done very well in the Grand Prix, his debut Grand Prix season, number 2 and number 1. That's Niall Mackenzie and Graham Cannell. Steve Parrish
he's up really high, isn't he?
Quick glimpse there at the back of number 22, that's Mario Rademeyer. He's flown all the way from South Africa to take part in this competition. Well, Alan Carter is really not giving up the fight. We've seen 2 top Grand Prix men here who've certainly impressed a lot of people over the past season. Rapicault, of course, one of the men who was up leading the French Grand Prix. And no problems at all by Rapicault. Twitches, it looks almost like it's a hinge in the middle as he goes this chicane. 2 laps completed then. Starting lap 3. Still Thierry Rapicault in the lead. Alan Carter, then Ken Irons. Well, Rapicault is setting a very ferocious pace, and as you can see, people still taking their time around Redgate, and who can blame them as the goes down. And the rear will just come straight off the ground there. Well, Rapicault is... Oh, my goodness gracious me.
Well, it's entertaining to say the least.
Well, I think Alan Carter's going to have to make a decision whether he wants to try and go past him and get away or stay far enough behind that he's got a choice of path.
Yeah, avoid the
Rapicault
bits and pieces, obviously.
So the Frenchman, Rapicault, twitching and sliding his way around Donington, out in front in this World Cup Pro-Am race. And Niall Mackenzie is now sliding through inside.
Oh, it had to happen.
Well, it had to go. It had to go down.
I would imagine he lost the front end of it. That's a very difficult corner because it's a little bit off camber, and when you go in there, the road just drops away and you lose the front end, usually, so we'll have to see.
Well, here we go. A chance to see
front
Mr.
ends,
Rapicault,
yes.
yeah, front end going down, as you say, Barry, but sliding safely off the track, perfectly okay. So Thierry Rapicault ends his interest in this particular World Cup race, and the leaders then on the fourth lap. And that's Niall Mackenzie and Alan Carter. Behind them, number 1, Graham Cannell. So we have 3 British boys now. And somebody else down there, that looks like Paul Tinker. Paul Tinker's bike. So Paul Tinker has decided he doesn't want to play anymore, but we've seen pretty convincing proof that the Donington Park circuit is slippery, particularly on these bikes, but Barry, it could be as slippery as this in the World Cup, couldn't it?
Yes, it could, and in the world of sport there's a lot of problems because you're riding a bike that's sort of 130, 140 horsepower, so it should be a little bit slippery, to say the least. And
news from the pits that Jacques Bolle, one of the French Grand Prix men in action, the man who won the British Grand Prix, in fact, Silverstone back in August, has pulled out of the race.
Perhaps he lost his ball. Oh, sorry about that.
Just amazing, yes. So, Niall Mackenzie, Alan Carter, nose to tail. Underneath the Dunlop Bridge, into the chicane, and then it will be the halfway stage. And Alan Carter again finds himself in the situation of following somebody around this wet and slippery Donington Park racetrack. Oh, there's Stavros. Steve Parish. And Christian Saran, I think that was ahead of him. So the Grand Prix men enjoying themselves. A big twitch there, as you can see, from Alan Carter's bike as he goes into Redgate, heels off.
Actually, he's going very well, Steve Parish. It's the first time he's ever ridden one of these things. And Christian Saran and Rapicault were brought up on them.
Well, Christian Saran being relegated a place, and in fact, it's Steve Parish in 7th spot. In fact, 8th place, because he's just gone ahead of Christian Saran. And Alan Carter, as I speak, goes through to take the lead from Niall Mackenzie, but this young Scottish boy, and Alan Carter gesticulating with his hands.
The difficult thing about Donington circuit is it's a very porous surface and it holds the water, so it looks very dry, but it can be completely wet, and then all of a sudden you'll see a white patch come up, and that means the circuit's dry. It's a very difficult circuit to judge.
Well, we've seen both Thierry Rapicault and Paul Tinker discover for themselves the damp patches.
I don't know what these two are doing.
Well, I think they're trying to pull away maybe from the people behind, and they're definitely having a little chat down there. Are they going to come in for a cup of tea and a sandwich, we ask? No, they're not. Oh, and Niall Mackenzie just overdoes it a tad, as we say. Goes back into 2nd place. Alan Carter out in front. Number 1, Graham Cannell, is in 3rd place. And that's Graham Cannell in 3rd position, and we think that Martin Wimmer, the West German, a real twitch there from Graham Cannell. He looks over his shoulder. There you can see a glimpse of Martin Wimmer, the German rider. It's Martin Wimmer in 4th place there now. Well, Martin was a brave man who went out practicing in the rain on his RD. There's Martin Wimmer, number 17.
Martin also used to race these bikes in West Germany, and he won the championship on them, so he should know a lot about them.
Well, Martin was, as you said, was looking forward to having a go in this particular competition. He practiced in the rain until the front wheel locked up sideways coming into the chicane, and he says, I think perhaps we've had enough of the practice.
He's reeling them in now, though.
He is indeed. Martin Wimmer closing the gap on Alan Carter, the race leader, number 12. Behind him is number 2, Niall Mackenzie. Third at the moment is Graham Cannell. And fourth, closing the gap, is the West German Martin Wimmer, a man who has won races at the British Grand Prix. He won last year. So it could build up for a four-way dice. They're coming round to complete 6 laps. 2 more laps to go then. Niall Mackenzie in second place. Alan Carter looks over his shoulder. Niall Mackenzie gets his chin down on his tank, and Martin Wimmer continues to reel in the 3 men in front of him.
It's interesting to watch Martin Wimmer because he puts his right leg on the seat going along the straight to stop the wind drag. You watch next time he goes along the straight, if we can pick him up, you'll see him with his foot on the seat.
Martin Wimmer there in 4th place in our picture number 17. One of the very, very talented group of Grand Prix stars taking part in this competition. We saw one of them, Thierry Rapicault, land on his ear, quite safely, I'm glad to say, a little earlier in the race. And Martin Wimmer now in 4th place, beginning to make his charge. So, Alan Carter. Then they're closing now. You can see Martin Wimmer. Alan Carter, number 12, about to come under a lot of pressure. We'll be coming round to start the last lap in just a few seconds' time. You can see Alan Carter's wrist there snapping on the throttle.
Yeah, now you can see Martin Wimmer's foot on the seat, number 17. Now he's just put it back on the footrest.
Martin Wimmer outbreaks Pro-Am leader Graham Cannell. He holds on to 3rd place. Where will he have a go for 2nd spot? Because Martin Wimmer wants to win this one. Martin Wimmer now in 3rd place. You can see his foot there on the seat. Barry Sheene now back onto the footrest. Changes down, the knee goes out. And Alan Carter loses 1st place because Niall Mackenzie goes through on the inside. It's Martin Wimmer in 3rd place.
Whoa.
And Graham Cannell gets on a real twitch as he tries to out-accelerate Martin Wimmer on the apex of Redgate. Niall Mackenzie, Alan Carter, Martin Wimmer and Graham Cannell. And it looks as though Martin Wimmer isn't going to be able to get near these 2 men. The question is, which one of these 2 is going to win, or is Martin going to reel them in the last half lap? Mackenzie, Carter, Wimmer and Cannell. Alan Carter.
Should be interesting into the chicane on the last lap.
Here we come then. It's now or never. Carter is in 2nd place. Martin Wimmer
goes.
Out.
Yes, whoa.
It's Mackenzie, it's still in front. Then it's Wimmer. Then it's Carter.
Oh,
then it's Cannell, and Martin Wimmer made
straight on.
Straight on at the chicane. And it's checkered flag time. So Niall Mackenzie then waves to the crowd, a tremendous victory. Wonderful performance there, and a good effort too from Martin Wimmer.
Brilliant effort from Wimmer. That's where experience tells, because Martin Wimmer braked very late into the chicane, realised he wasn't going to make it, so just picked it up and went straight on.
Well, it was very close thing for second place on the line. Certainly Niall Mackenzie, the winner. Second, we think, was Graham Cannell, and third, Alan Carter, but they were absolutely side by side, and perhaps it's going to be the judges who will decide who was second. So a tremendous victory there for Niall Mackenzie. A great ride, and time to go back to the studio and Dickie Davis.